So hi, one of the Good Noise podcast with Paper Jackets. We're gonna ask them some questions today. I'm gonna start. So, what inspired you guys to start the band, and what does the band name mean?
The band was started a couple years ago, and the band name is just kind of random. Um, like most band names, I would assume are pretty random, but just something. You know, um, like gosh, it's weird. I always have like two versions of this that I like to tell people, and I guess there's sort of like a darker past to our band. Not everybody, but I can speak for myself. I guess only just of like drinking and using drugs and stuff like that. And I think Paper Jackets to me is sort of a way of concealing the truth. Like you hide behind this sort of jacket or mask or whatever you want to call it, and it's just it's kind of like that's basically the idea, that I kind of would come upon these bottles with paper wrapped around them, and I was simultaneously trying to figure out a name for the band, and so I was like, Paper Jackets. I don't know, that truly that's the truth right there. So
All right. Interesting.
yeah.
Yeah. So congrats on your newest release, Souvenirs Volume 1. How do you feel about the response to it so far?
I feel like it's been really positive. We've just been kicking around a few singles every couple of months or so. Released a lot of content, especially this year. That's been really important since we haven't been able to tour because of COVID. So we're just kind of keeping our faces out there and trying to put out as much as possible.
Yeah, makes sense.
So can you tell me a little bit about your writing process for that album and how it changed? Did it change at all from your first release to this one?
Yeah, I think it's changed a lot, actually, quite a lot since the first releases, and I'd say most evident with the change in has been kind of how we introduced Amy into the band as being like, she's been fronting the band as well, like, and it's been really cool, like with the sort of interplay between male and female leads, and just kind of really utilizing like the whole dynamic and the range of like kind of like what we kind how the personality of our voices kind of works off each other and that kind of thing. So
Yeah, I like that a lot when I was listening through that album, the back and forth of the vocals and whatnot. So
yeah,
It's a good
yeah.
touch.
Oh, thank you.
And I feel like it's even more.
More of that. You were saying what I was saying.
Yeah, go ahead. You
James.
say it.
Oh, yeah, you're gonna see more of that dynamic as we keep releasing
okay,
new tracks and whatnot.
all right, very
All right,
exciting.
solid. Yeah. So where was your headspace while creating that record, actually?
Oh man, I guess all over the place. The most recent record, are you talking about like Drugs and Honey or the Souvenirs?
Souvenirs Volume 1.
Souvenirs.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's our headspace has been kind of everywhere, and I think a lot of people feel even before the pandemic and all of COVID. I think life was already kind of had its challenges. So I think we've always kind of been on the hustle, on the grind. I think it's been a very go go go. Let's get like hungry hippos kind of mentality. Just gobbling all the little things. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I do think like Souvenirs, the first volume, what's different about it from what's going to happen in the second volume is those songs, the majority of them have been, it's like a collection of work since 2016, maybe even before, because
wow.
I don't know when you started writing these ideas. Yeah, and I think there must have been 30 or 40 tracks to pick from. So we kind of just picked what we felt was best out of those years,
Yeah.
So then, what was that process like? How'd you guys go from trimming down those 30 or 40 tracks to the 10 that made the album?
We definitely
think
had
it's-
help. We had, the band, we have our own opinions about everything. Everyone has their own favorite. And then we have, management and A&R help along with that. But James, you're speaking.
I was
Sorry.
gonna, and she's exactly right. We did have a lot of help, but I think it's a combination of the newest, the newer vision that kind of shares that dynamic we just talked about, and then like also what we were most excited about, and then some of the stuff is like, well, what we weren't going to be able to part with from the older stuff. So I think there are certain songs that you just like didn't want to part with, and then, but you also are balancing that with, oh, I'm really excited about this new stuff. So I think it was just our favorites, and yeah, exactly like what we thought would do the best.
Okay. So
Right.
pretty much this release was just like bridging the gap and like introducing that dynamic that you guys have now between the male and female vocals. Was the idea
Yeah.
behind it? Okay.
Oh, all right. Sick.
So what band or artist influences do you think you can hear the most on this record then?
Ooh, we have so many. I know like a band that we all really love is Mother Mother. I'm not sure if you hear that in our music, but we really dig their vibe. We all have such different influences. I feel like it just makes our own thing.
Yeah, it's hard to pinpoint like a few. A lot of people say stuff like, yeah, the 1975 really influenced my band, and or like this band.
We like that too, though.
We do, yeah, but I feel like she's right. There's such a broad range of like influences. It'd be hard to say one or the other, but I feel like we have definitely been listening a lot to like Mr. Wives. We like, that's a band kind of similar to us. We've been listening to Mother Mother, as Amy said, and just a lot of really cool indie bands. Like Walk the Moon, I think has been kind of maybe it's been like a year since that record came out, but I really feel like we have a lot of similarities and so on. But there's such a vast list.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Fair. So what made you choose the name Souvenirs Volume 1? And is there any meaning behind the cover art?
Exactly. So like, just like we were talking about this being a collection of work that spans like almost a 4-year period. The idea of souvenirs is that you kind of like have collected these trinkets or what have you along the way. You've collected these relics from your sort of like, this is the soundtrack of your life, and these are like the relics that you've sort of picked up along the way.
Okay.
That is so cool. I really like
Yeah.
that. That's so
Each
cool.
object kind of relates to a song on the record too.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like good in meetings,
I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah. Wait, so did you just randomly select the things on the cover then to represent each song? Or did you just kind of say, oh, this has this vibe?
We had an ongoing list of things we thought were cool enough visually, but also served meaning and the broader purpose of like what these relics were, and also too, I think we assigned meaning to each relic. It's kind of arbitrary because like to some degree, a yard flamingo is just a yard flamingo. You know what I mean? But we assigned meaning to them in a way that kind of at least explains this point. So when we talk about these things, these items, these relics, it is like the whole package, the souvenir package. And there were certain things, like there were certain restrictions, like stuff you could get delivered. Like stuff that we wanted that we couldn't get or just didn't look right, like didn't blend with the other things. But ultimately, yeah, like each relic is like symbolic of a song, a meaning of the our artistic journey, if you will.
Okay.
So
All right. So you mentioned that these songs started as early as like 2016. What song on the record took the longest to write, and then what is your personal favorite?
My personal favorite is Fairweather Friends. That's more on a personal tip for me, just because I felt like I was really starting to come into my own as part of the band.
Okay.
As far as recording, that was the first time like I actually heard myself more in a lead position. You can hear me on the bridge there, so that was like special to me. I started to feel like the camaraderie and all that.
All right.
What was the other question?
Song that
What-
took longest to write.
I think,
Oh, the longest. Oh, Miss You.
yeah.
Well, no, not true. Miss You was actually the fastest to write, but the longest to produce and get to like the end product.
Yeah, yeah. She said it's like we have one mind that we just can share. We're just sharing the the mic here. But yes, she's absolutely right. Like I would agree too. My personal favorite though, I don't know. It's tough. I like Slow Motion, even though it's kind of a goofy song. Goofy in the sense that it's not super serious. But yeah, I think Miss You definitely was a song that we instantly came together and exercised that dynamic we were talking about earlier and really like executed it. But then kind of got put on the side just because, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's weird. Like one of our best ideas just kind of got put on the side for a bit and then we came back to it. And so, yeah, it did take the longest to get done.
Okay.
Okay, that's fair. So this one should go like super, super fast. Off the top of your head, I want you to describe this album in 3 words, as fast as you can.
All right, you go first, Amy.
Vibrant, youthful, vibrant, youthful, humorous.
Okay.
There's some humor in there.
All right.
I like that one. I like
Like fantastical, boombastic, and incendiary.
Big words. Holy
that. What
shit.
does that last word mean?
Let me get my dictionary out.
Really just-
Incendiary is something that's gonna catch on fire, like something that's easily flammable.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, that's
Big
cool. That's
fucking
cool.
words.
Travel word.
So,
You know.
is there a certain feeling you want listeners to have while listening to this album?
I think there's a certain amount of joy that like even though there's like a lot of like maybe painful themes or subjects, I think there's a lot of like hope on the other side of that. So I think hopeful. There's a lot of fun production on this. So I think there's a fair amount of enjoyment you can get from that, and just kind of like not taking it so seriously. I think a lot of music is a lot of artists are super serious, or they take it super serious. I think this is like more lighthearted, and so I think you should relax when you listen to this too. It's not so urgent. The world isn't gonna end.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
All right. I mean, it might, but
Oh,
not,
yeah.
not while you're
The way
listening.
2020 is going. Solid. All right. So you guys actually dropped a new single, Drugs and Honey. Is there anything leading up to it? Like, is it leading up to anything, I should say? Like album, EP, what are we talking about here? Tell us everything, please.
All right, Amy, you go first.
Well, the plan is we're going to be dropping a few singles because we've been writing even more, and there is a second volume, and we're not sure on the release date just yet. But I'm thinking that's going to happen maybe first half of next year.
Okay. All right.
Would you say that's fair,
Yeah.
James?
Yeah, it's been a weird rollout with some of this stuff, but I think sometimes it, even though it's not what we planned, I think it is the best thing for us right now. And we've got a couple singles to kind of tie us over between now and the end of the year, and then as things start back up next year, when everything is fine and back to normal, hopefully, we'll be doing a lot more and hopefully getting out to, I want to say play shows in March. Hopefully that's what we're trying to do. So
That'd be
it's
good.
leading up to that sort of hope of like, let's get out, let's go back, let's play, let's put out music in a way that's super meaningful for, listeners.
All right. So will
Alright.
this also showcase more of that dynamic, since this album was like bridging the gap? Can we expect even more of that on this upcoming release?
Fully. And I think you see it a lot in Drugs and Honey,
Yes.
and our next single, I think, has even more Amy, which is awesome.
Oh,
It's all like we kind of had this thing of like sort of like there's some songs off Volume 2 that we really like that are like heavily Amy featured, and it's cool. It's cool to hear her and kind of like hear how sort of the stage can be shared. It feels really refreshing and nice. So
all right. Very
yeah.
exciting.
And
So,
I like sharing leads. I think it's like interesting, dynamic. You don't feel like so much pressure.
for sure.
Yeah.
You can always just pass it.
Yeah.
So where do you guys see the band in the next 5 years?
Popping the 5-year question. I like it.
Really touring, actively working. That's all I can ever ask for, you know?
Yeah.
My goal personally has never been fame. I just want to be an actively working musician, you know?
Yeah.
For sure.
Provided that everything is like stable enough for us to make our way around and act as normal. Yeah, we would love to continue to just be working and like continue to put out records that matter to people, you know? So
Definitely. All right. So for the last couple questions, we're actually going to shift away from music, if that's okay with you.
sure.
Sick. All right. So we're going to go to death row for a little bit then.
Boom.
So if you're on death row, what would your last meal be with a drink?
I would, if it was me, I would just have the drink, I think.
Oh,
Okay. What would that be?
Yeah. I don't know, maybe like some kind of fancy scotch.
okay.
All right. Solid. We haven't gotten just a drink before. That's new. Solid.
But if you're asking what I would like to eat if it was just about eating, I'd say like some scallops and maybe a medium rare fillet and some like mashed potatoes and stuff. That's like the kind of guy I am, you know. Maybe a crab cake.
Ooh. All right. All right.
I mean, normally I would say sushi because that's my favorite food, but I feel like if I was on death row, I would probably want something comforting that my mom made me as a kid.
Oh.
You know? Like, even if
Nice.
something as simple as like spaghetti and meatballs, you know, just like something comforting, and I would probably just drink poison and get it over with.
Oh my God.
All right.
We're going to do it yourself.
You
go
went
out your own
like
way.
really wholesome, and then you're like, I'll just drink some poison.
Exactly.
All right.
Yeah.
Way
It's
to-
easy as
way to
that.
Take the 180 there. So, if you could live in one fictional world for a week, where would you live?
The Mushroom Kingdom from Mario.
Oh my God.
I want to live there so bad.
Honestly.
I've played a lot of Odyssey this year and a lot of I just beat Mario 64 again.
Okay.
You know,
Had a lot of
pandemic's given me
downtime.
a lot of time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I really just I want to live in like the Mario world.
Okay.
Okay. I totally second that because you asked us, like I don't want to give the same answer. But I will say that I've also played a lot of Odyssey this year, and it's been awesome. But if I had to live in a fantasy world for 1 week, I'm saying I'm not even a big Harry Potter fan, but I would say Hogwarts.
Okay.
What's your house?
Just because why not? You know.
Yeah.
You know.
Good reason.
You have a glass already. So.
Wait, what's your house?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know a lot about the various houses, but I wouldn't want to be. I wouldn't want to be a student though, because I don't want to get pushed around in this way. I'd want to be like just somebody who wasn't involved in all of the craziness. You know, like I don't want to have to deal with any stuff. I just want to try magic and maybe have some cool, I don't know, people watching.
Okay.
Just hanging out.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just vibing. All right. So I have the honor of asking the last question, and every single person we've spoken to has actually said it's the most important question. What's your favorite color?
Oh.
Disappointed.
Sorry, I didn't mean it. I was like, I kind of went in. I didn't know you finished the question. My favorite color. What's your favorite color, Amy?
You know what's interesting? I say I hate the color pink, but I sure do wear it a lot.
Yeah.
It's valid.
But it's like a mauve. You know what? Mauve. Like a blush pink.
Mm-hmm.
Chartreuse.
Very, you know,
Taste. Yeah, yeah.
it
Yeah.
has like an Asian vibe to it too.
I like, man, a single color.
Just
I
one.
don't know. I don't want to be lame and say I like the color blue, but I really do like blue. I like 80s aesthetic colors, like vintage, like kind of like warm colors,
Mhm.
like even like a faded burnt orange. Just gives me something. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
So just an 80s color, whichever one.
Yeah, 80s aesthetic.
All right.
These
So
camp vibes.
Yeah, just some like nice vintage grain, you know,
Yeah.
the nice like warm, like kind of like this color behind me. It's just like a nice wood paneling.
Yeah.
okay,
You know,
Warm.
Rustic.
I like
Mhm.
warmth,
just warm,
Warmth. Warm.
beige. Give me
Beige.
beige. So as Gloria said, that is all the questions we have today. Is there anything you'd like to plug?
Drugs and Honey's out now.
Just
Just check it
yeah,
out if you haven't.
get out, play Mario Odyssey, listen to Drugs and Honey by Paper Jackets,
All right.
and Mario Kart 8 online is gas.
Lit.
It's straight awesome.
So just
Are you
any Mario
sponsored?
game. Yeah.
I just get
Fun for us.
I just love the online gameplay because we get rocked by like kids in other countries.
Wait. Okay.
The 12-year-old that just rolled out of bed, just kicked your ass.
Oh,
Yeah. Oh my god.
Murky. Just nasty.
Well, that's where we'll leave it. Thank you for sitting down with us, guys. This has been Paper Jackets, and we're the Good Noise Podcast.